Hello and welcome back to Purple in Peril, a Warlock life and guide. This is level 24. We've finished the Eveningstar 1, 2, 3 chains, just come out of the dark and dingy demon web area into the light and the wooded hills of Eveningstar. And I thought this would be a chance to show, as the Druid's chain is next on the agenda, a nice use of the dimension door, seeing as I was insistent on taking it as soon as was available early in the leveling process. But I don't think I've ever really shown some nice application of it. So let's have a go at that this time. The epic destinies are looking nicer and nicer. We've taken the +3 bonus imbue dice here. Just to clarify again, it's all pretty much all about offense for me on the leveling on the way up to the cap. And once we get there, we're going to switch out into this sentinel tree and become the tanky warlock that we're kind of supposed to be with this build. So at the moment I'm going pretty much all for spell power. So I've taken everything we would like in here at the moment. Might just go for the evocation DCs as well, because that could get me a little bit more damage if things start failing more saves. We'll see. At the moment I'm building the spell power in there. The next one will be nice because we're getting the end bonus on that, and then once we've finished that we will go and take the imbue dice in here as well. And the next big thing I guess will be the level 26, the third cores in these two trees. Now the third core in this tree is particularly nice for our end build. I am going to try and put 11 points in Draconic because you'll see there at the bottom it's dealing in temporary hit points. Now 10 hit points for a level 32, that's 320 temporary hit points every time it triggers, which is quite nice for a class or a character that's kind of built around temporary hit point use. So I will definitely be trying to fit that in if it's at all possible. So that between that and the improved shard storm, also giving temporary hit points, we'll be in a good place at the cap. And as you'll see later on, I'll have at least one other source of that as well, plus the shining through and stanch. So temporary wise we'll be in a good place, I think. So we're going to go ahead and try this quest Thorn Paw. The gear, as I mentioned, won't change now until getting up towards the cap. I'll replace the Pansophic circlet with the legendary version at 28, but until then it's going to stay the same. Those are our stats. So we have a fairly decent fortitude and will save for early to mid epic. Reflex is lagging a bit behind, but I've bumped it up as much as I can in the Reaper tree, so that's helping a bit. We're making some progress towards our stated goal of 21 Reaper points this life. It'd be really nice to get there. I don't think we'll quite get there running Reaper 1 when we make the cap, but we could well do if we start running some legendary quests when we're at the cap, which is what I plan to do. Okay, let's get stuck in. Just to mention, I have run across a few things, immune to both acid and poison, like the dragon at the end of the Don't Drink the Water quest, which you can see on the level 22 vid. But you still have your Tempest, which is now fully meted, and the tentacles as well, plus the 2 blasts, or you can go for your single target blast if need be. So I haven't found that to be too great a problem, and where the things are vulnerable to acid and poison, they start melting. So that's been great. For a level 24 feat, by the way, we took Intensify, so we've now got Intensify 75 extra spell power on our 2 big AoEs, plus on these 4 as well, which is very nice. So I thought that was a decent choice for the build. Another thing about the ticking aura, in the sort of Eveningstar chains, you get a lot of Driders with the web attack. Is it web thread or something like that, that seems to knock you down anyway, even when we're in this toggled form, immune to most knockdowns. But even when you're on the floor, this aura keeps pulsing out, keeps healing you and hurting them. So even when you're like stunned, incapacitated, or as was the case late in Heroic in Wayloon, there is a quest with a load of howlers in there that can make you helpless. Even when helpless, this thing keeps going, so it can get you out of some pretty dodgy situations, which is nice. I know what you're thinking. One day he's actually going to do some questing. I notice we've gained a charge as well with that epic level on the shifting front, so I think we'll have more than enough without investing any more in the extra shifts in the shifter tree. So that'll be a point for us to save, a point or two.
You have reached Thorn Hollow, the Druid Hall Same's home.
So this will be an example. I bet these are all immune to poison and... oh no! They're vulnerable to one thing. Let's just check that. We'll learn something. No, they're immune to poison but vulnerable to the acid. Okay, I'll take it.
Great.
So even being vulnerable to just the one, they're still getting fairly well melted. Let's take this opportunity to do away with that bear so I don't have to do it later. In fact, we may as well try and kill the druid too while we're at it. Is he gone? Yeah, okay. So even without using the big AoE attacks, we're doing pretty well against the plants. And using the AoE, I just used the Tempest there, things just melt. I'll just go and get that remnant. Let's try and get these all together if we can. No, these aren't playing ball, are they? We don't even particularly need souls anymore. Right, so I mentioned about using the DDO. So all you need to do in these end bits is kill the corruption nodes, nothing else. So just target the corruption node.
The center of this cavern is a focal point of the druidic magic.
Hammer that. And once it's gone, just DDO out of there. Don't bother doing any of the rest of the fighting. And then go on to the other side, the left-hand side, in the main cavern. So that's just a real convenience save. Or if you're on a squishy character, let's say a ranger, archer type, you could really make nice use. Let's say you have a DDO from the Shadow Destiny. You could just hammer the node from maximum range, door out of there, and none of the opponents would even move. And as archers are so bad with the AoE, that would be a godsend for you.
This waterfall is clean and pure, untouched by the corruption.
See how many temporary hit points now we can get when we trigger the Shard Storm plus the Shining Through together. Oh, well over 1,000. That's getting nice. At this point, I think you can see I could quite comfortably do higher than Reaper 1, were it not for the fact that my end boss damage is pretty rubbish on this build. So again, we've DDO'd out and now we're going up the middle. So just a handy way to avoid a big battle and speed up the quest a little bit. Getting you back to the middle with not having to walk back, because another convenience here with not having to walk back. When the nodes are destroyed, the side passages are all opened up and all these crazy bears can pop out and molest you if you're not quick enough. So it's just a handy little thing to have.
The tunnel opens into Halsey's
so in this
own
case,
chambers. There is a
let's
third
target the druid.
and a revitalized corruption.
They're going to be right in the middle. Normally I would not advocate at all doing this, but in this case, let's just test the strength of the build. Put all the temp hit points on. We've got 1500 now. With just the oh, there's something left down there that I'm not too bothered about. I was going to say with just the big bear left, we could have gone to single target blast, but it's gonna there you go, sorted quick enough. I like to leave the aura ticking where possible for the temporary hit points it gives. 69 con. So it's giving nearly 140 temporary hit points now every time it pulses, which is nice.
Wait, come here. You are looking
And
for
just in case you were
Halsey,
wondering, this
the ancient
rage
druid.
from the
He is not
beast,
here. He has
oh, I think it's
gone
telling
to
us what we're
Druid's Gate.
getting there.
With that, the last of
Bonus
light
to armor
passes
class
from
and
her
con,
eyes. Her words linger darkly.
fortitude
Thorn
saves,
Hollow is cleansed.
plus,
But while Halsey
excuse me,
lives,
plus any
none of
benefits
these
we're getting
lands are
anyway
safe.
in the beast tree here. So we're getting an extra 3 con, so we're getting 7 con when we rage, and 12 PRR. I don't think that is conditional on raging the healing amp, though it's nice, but immune to fatigue, which is important, and extra threat gen, more PRR and more hit points. So this rage is really good for this build. I think this shifter, this beast shifter in general, is hands down the best for the Constitution Warlock build if you happen to have it available. I think I have waffled on enough, so we'll call that a wrap for level 24. Thank you very much as always for looking, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.